Welcome back, everyone. World Baseball news for the last time in 2020. It's postseason time in the Caribbean. Some leagues start their playoffs this week, some next week, and some have already started. But before we go there, let's look at the Far East, where we had another exciting round of off-season free agent signings last week. The biggest news out of NPB came last Saturday when Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters starting pitcher Kohei Arihara signed a 2-year deal with the Texas Rangers in the $6 to $7 million range. The 28-year-old right-hander had a 3.46 ERA and 1.17 WHIP in 132 innings. Those numbers were down from the previous year, but still one of the best in NPB's Pacific League. The Hanshin Tigers have signed right-handed starting pitcher Raul Alcantara. The 28-year-old Dominican led the KBO with 20 wins last season, pitching for the Doosan Bears. He's the latest in a series of foreign KBO players signing with Hanshin, starting last year with Jerry Sands and just a few weeks ago with Mel Rojas Jr. Also joining the Tigers will be 35-year-old left-hander Wei Yin Chen. The former Major League pitcher returned to NPB in mid-season 2020, helping the Chibalote Marines reach the postseason with a 2.42 ERA in 26 innings. 1 week after re-signing their 3 Cuban players, the Japan Series champion SoftBank Hawks are bringing in another one. Industrialis closer Andy Rodriguez will be the newest weapon for the Hawks. This season, in Cuba, he's recorded 10 saves and a 2.04 ERA in 39 2/3 innings. The 23-year-old has a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And the other Japan Series team, the Yomiuri Giants, announced last week that 6 of their foreign players will return. Relief pitcher Ruby De La Rosa, starting pitcher Angel Sanchez, starting pitcher Christopher Mercedes, pitcher Tiago Vieira, third baseman Zealous Wheeler, and infielder Estemi Urena will all be back for the 2021 season. The Oryx Buffaloes announced the return of a pair of foreign players for the 2021 season. 36-year-old right-handed pitcher Brandon Dixon will be back for his 9th season with the Buffaloes. A former starting pitcher turned reliever, Dixon made 39 appearances with 16 saves and an ERA of 3.28. The other returnee is 29-year-old outfielder Steven Moya. In 2020, Moya only played 46 games but hit 12 home runs, OPS .891. Yasuhiro Ogawa has decided to stay with the Swallows. Earlier this offseason, he said he wanted to test the free agency market. The 30-year-old right-hander has been with the Swallows for 8 years. And the Chibalote Marines will welcome Cuban infielder Adeni Hechavarria to the club. The 9-year Major League veteran played in 27 games for the Atlanta Braves in 2020, batting .254, but his OPS was only .607. In the KBO, a big re-signing for the LG Twins. 25-year-old first baseman Roberto Ramos will be back on a 1-year deal worth $1 million. Last season, Ramos slugged .592 and set a club record with 38 home runs, even though he missed 27 games. The Doosan Bears have lost some good players this offseason, but DH Jose Miguel Fernandez isn't going anywhere. He re-signed for 1 year, $1.1 million. Last season, Fernandez hit 21 home runs while batting .340, on-base percentage .404. And joining the Bears' pitching staff will be left-handed pitcher Ariel Miranda, one of the top pitchers in the CPBL in 2020 for the China Trust Brothers. Miranda signed for 1 year, $800,000. Switch-hitting outfielder Zoilo Almonte signed with the KT Wiz for 1 year, $775,000. The 31-year-old Dominican slashed .294, .385, .463 in 62 games for the Chunichi Dragons of NPB in 2020. 27-year-old right-handed pitcher Daniel Mengden is the latest signing for the Kia Tigers. He spent the last 5 years with the Oakland A's, used as both a starter and a reliever. Last season he made just 4 appearances, ERA .365 through 12 1/3 innings. His deal is 1 year, $1 million. In the CPBL, the new team for 2021, the Weichuan Dragons, announced the signing of their foreign players for next season. Infielder Rosel Herrera last played in 2019 for the Miami Marlins, batting 263 games. Drew Gagnon spent 2020 with the Kia Tigers in the KBO, going 11-8 with a .434 ERA. He had previously pitched for the New York Mets, mostly in relief. Jake Brigham spent the last 4 years with the Kiwoom Heroes in the KBO. In 2020, he was 9-5, ERA .362 in 107 innings. Junichi Tazawa appeared in nearly 400 games over a 9-year Major League career, but not since 2018. And 6-year CPBL veteran Brian Woodall, coming over from the Fubon Guardians. He's had a good career in Taiwan as a starting pitcher, but not so good in the last 2 years. For their first season at the CPBL's big league level, this is a good group of foreign players to start with. The China Trust Brothers, in addition to losing Miranda, announced that they will not bring back starting pitcher Esmil Rogers. One replacement is 31-year-old Cuban left-hander Onelki Garcia, who threw 75 innings for the Hanshin Tigers over the summer, ERA .442. His deal is 1 year, $500,000. The other one is 27-year-old right-hander Gabriel Inoa, a 3-year Major League veteran. He appeared briefly for the Yakult Swallows last summer and currently plays in the Dominican League. The Fubon Guardians have added a new pitcher, 33-year-old right-hander Hector Noasi. In 2019 with the Miami Marlins he appeared in 12 games, 4 of them starts. He also pitched in the KBO and LIDOM. Contract is 1 year, $500,000. And one for the Uni Lions, 33-year-old lefty Felix Dubront, a 6-year Major League veteran, played most recently in his native Venezuela and in both Mexican leagues. In the Dominican Republic, the postseason just got started on Sunday. Here is how the regular season ended. A 3-way tie at the top. Gigantes won the tiebreaker and earned the number 1 seed. They will await the winner of a 3-game series between 4th and 5th seeds Estrellas and Leones. Águilas and Toros meet in the other semifinal series. Tigres del Licey are done for the year after a last-place finish. And an exciting start to the postseason. Fernando Tatis Jr. and Robinson Cano arrived for Estrellas Orientales, while Vladimir Guerrero Jr. joined Leones. Estrellas took this one 8-4 and went up 1-0 in the best-of-3 series. Cano homered in his first 2 times at the plate. The next meeting between these two will be tonight at 6 p.m. local time. If necessary, Game 3 will be on Tuesday. LIDOM batting champion is Toros del Este infielder Yamaico Navarro, batting .361, going 30 for 83. 1,000th of a point behind him was Gigantes infielder Ronald Guzman at .360, and third was Joe Dunand of Leones, .319. Tigres del Licey infielder Juan Francisco led the way in home runs with 7. Ronald Guzman, second in batting, also second in home runs with 5, and first in hits, 40, and on-base percentage, .450. Top base stealer was 22-year-old Toros infielder Vidal Brujan with 11. Second was Águilas outfielder Jeffrey Perez, a perfect 9 for 9 in stolen bases. ERA king was Leones right-hander David Kubiak, a 1.73 ERA in 7 starts and 36 1/3 innings. Despite this, he only got 1 decision for the season. Next, a pair of Águilas pitchers, Yuneski Maya, .279, and Ramon Rosso, .312. Kubiak also topped the league in strikeouts with 32. Rosso was 1 behind with 31, and Águilas right-hander Yoander Negrin had 30. This week in Mexico, the LMP regular season comes to an end and the postseason will begin. Naranjeros de Hermosillo are still at the top after winning a pair of series over Mayos and Algodoneros last week. Second place, Águilas also won their 2 series over Tomateros and Venados. Third place, Yaquis also were winners of 2 series. They are tied with Algodoneros, who went 3-3. Fifth place, Sultanes were the big gainers for the week after winning 5 out of 6 from Charros. Sixth place is a tie between Venados and Charros. 8th place, Tomateros. 9th place, Mayos. And 10th place, Cañeros. This week, final series in the LMP regular season, Monday to Wednesday. Third place, Algodoneros at second place, Águilas. Venados at Cañeros, Sultanes at Tomateros, Naranjeros at Charros, and Yaquis at Mayos. Naranjeros outfielder Yadiel Hernandez and Charros shortstop Amadeo Zazueta are tied for the batting lead at .331. Another Naranjeros outfielder, Norberto Obeso, is hitting .328. 5 LMP batters have 11 home runs to top the league. Japet Amador of Charros, Leandro Castro of Yaquis, Sebastián Elizalde of Tomateros, Felix Perez of Águilas, and Dustin Peterson of Sultanes. ERA is led by 2 Águilas pitchers, Miguel Peña, .208, and Javier Solano, .251. Third is Juan Pablo Oramas of Naranjeros, .280. In Australia, only 2 games were played last week as the ABL struggles to get the new season rolling. Canberra and Melbourne played a 2-game series over the weekend. Canberra came from behind to take Saturday's game 8-4. But on Sunday, Melbourne scored 5 runs in the 7th on their way to an 8-2 win to even the series. Here are the standings. 3 teams at 500, the other 3 haven't played yet. Adelaide and Brisbane will not play until after the new year. This week, Canberra and Sydney meet in a 6-game series starting today. That one should be over with now, continuing until Sunday, January 3rd. Perth and Melbourne will play a 4-game series starting Thursday the 31st. That'll be the season opener for the Perth Heat. In Puerto Rico, the season just started a few weeks ago, but it's already playoff time this week. With 2 games left, it's a 2-team race. Criollos holds a 1-game lead over second-place Indios. Last Wednesday, 2 big upsets occurred when Atenienses beat Criollos, and RA12 picked up their first ever win, 1-0 over Indios, proving that the bottom 2 are capable of beating the top 2, just not very often. This week in the LBPRC, final games take place on Tuesday and Wednesday. Atenienses takes on RA12, and Indios and Criollos meet to decide the regular season champion. Thursday and Friday are off. Saturday and Sunday, games 1 and 2 of the best-of-7 semifinal round. The Cuban National Series will continue its regular season into the new year, and nothing will be settled before that. The race is very close as 10 teams battle for 8 playoff spots. Sancti Spiritus and Granma share the top spot. Sancti Spiritus went 4-2 last week, winning their series against Las Tunas and Guantanamo. Granma went 3-3, winning a series over Santiago before losing one to Las Tunas. So Las Tunas definitely had the toughest schedule last week. They are tied for third with Cienfuegos. Fifth place is Matanzas, going 3-3 last week in what should have been an easy schedule for them. Sixth place, Pinar del Rio moves up after going 4-1 for the week. Seventh place, a tie between Camagüey and Santiago. Ninth place, Industriales, just a half game out of that eighth and final playoff spot. Their first series last week was postponed for COVID. On the weekend, they swept Mayabeque, who's in 10th place now, just one game behind in the playoff race. And the bottom six are eliminated from postseason contention. 3 makeup games are all that remain until after the new year. Villa Clara at Isla Juventud doesn't really matter, both teams will miss the postseason. And 7th place Santiago meets 6th place Pinar del Rio in a doubleheader. Batting leader is Cesar Prieto of Cienfuegos at .406, on-base percentage .467. Earlier this season he set a new league record with a 45-game hit streak. Humberto Bravo of Camagüey is batting .390, and Rafael Vinales of Las Tunas is hitting .379. Lisban Correa's home run total is unchanged at 25. The Industriales hitter is slugging .729. Rafael Vinales has 18, and Yasser Julio Gonzalez from Pinar del Rio has 17. Pablo Luis Guillen of Villa Clara is the new ERA leader at .252 through 78 2/3 innings. Sancti Spiritus pitcher Yoen Sacaras is next at .267. Third is Erles Casanova of Pinar del Rio, .294. The LBPN in Nicaragua is the other league with its postseason underway. 4 teams are taking part in a round robin. 2 teams will advance to the championship series. And it got off to a wild start on Saturday. Number 4 seed Gigantes hammered top-seeded Tren del Norte 13-4, and a high-scoring one as Tigres topped Leones 16-15. On Sunday, Tren evened it up with a 6-4 win over Gigantes, while Tigres beat Leones again 5-4. So the early round-robin standings look like this. Teams will play 12 games, 4 against each other team. Today, Tren will take on Tigres while Gigantes meets Leones. The rest of the week's schedule can be found in the description. Final regular season stats. The top 3 hitters in the LBPN all came from Tren del Norte. Renato Morales hit .440 to run away with the batting title. Home run leaders were also topped by a Tren hitter. Willie Garcia had 8. Then a couple Gigantes hitters, Chesler Cotbert and Williams Vasquez, both had 6. And the top pitcher came from Tren. Johan Flande led the league with a .203 ERA. Followed by Leones pitcher Dilmer Mejia, .225, and Tigres pitcher Alexander Santana, .294. In Venezuela, the regular season for the LVBP will go well into January, so a lot of things can still happen. Caribes had a rough week but managed to extend their lead in the Central to a game and a half. Leones, Tigres, and Tiburones are all under 500. West Division leader Cardenales won 2 out of 3 from Caribes to emerge as the top team in the LVBP. But they face a very challenging schedule this week. A 3-game series against second-place Navegantes, who trail by only half a game. Then 1 more game against Caribes. After that, they face third-place Bravos, who trail by only 1 game. Batting leader at this time is Tigres second baseman Hernan Perez. His slash line is .426, .523, .722. Right behind him is Aguilar's third baseman Ali Castillo, .424. ERA leader is Magallanes pitcher Eric Leal, 111 through 5 starts and 24 1/3 innings. Next best is Tiburones pitcher Victor Diaz, 233 through 6 starts, 27 innings. One more league to look at, and that is the LPB in Colombia. Tigres is still at the top, 2 games over second-place Vaqueros. Caimanes de Barranquilla are third, 3 games out of first, 1 game out of second. Those will be the 3 postseason teams, but the regular season will not conclude until a week into January. And that's all for this one. Until next year, this is Baseball International. See ya.